I moved into a school bus because I wanted to live more intentionally with my time, with my energy, with my resource usage, and also because I love traveling, I love camping, I love hiking, I like being outdoors, and this seemed like the best possible way to marry all of those together. Hi, my name is Kaetlynn Dowse, and this is my bus, Ruth Bader Ginn's bus, notorious BUS. And this is my husky, Mako, like the shark, and welcome to my crib. One of the most important features of my build was the kitchen. I love to cook, so I decided to sacrifice a little bit more closet and bathroom space to make sure that I had a full kitchen. I don't have an oven, but I do have a stove, and all of the parts of my bus except for the cabinets have been reclaimed. So this butcher block has been in my family for 20 some odd years and was purchased from a restore before that. We found this copper sink at a thrift store as well. Just kept lucking out when it came to things. But I will say that the sink is very small. It does make washing dishes very challenging. I'm constantly wiping up water. I would say in a future build or something that is the only thing that I really regret doing on the bus is having such a small sink. But I love copper so much, and the copper sink, it always brings me joy when I look at it. So it was just a bit of a trade-off for functionality versus design. In this case, I went so much for functionality in every other place of the bus that, you know, you got to make some sacrifices here and there. We really focused on big open space for the kitchen. I've got all of my plates and cups and my utensils and things in the drawers here in the upper cabinets. And I use an air fryer sometimes. I always have a blender, and I don't have a hot water heater. I boil my water when I want to wash dishes or wash my face, brush my teeth. It helps me conserve water and be a little bit less aggressive in my water usage, and a little bit more intentional when it comes to how full my water tank is. I have so many spices. I have 2 full rows of spices in my pantry, so there was a bit of an overflow, so I decided to install some of these mason jars underneath the cabinets for additional spices, ones that I don't use as frequently, but I just screwed the lids into the bottom of the cabinet and then tightened each one down and labeled it so that I can access them when I need them. I have a what's considered a miniature fridge. It is a DC fridge, so it is a marine fridge. So I'm able to fit a lot into it versus a chest freezer, which you see a lot of 12-volt refrigerators that are chest-style freezers and fridges. I wanted to make sure that this was the exact space it took up. So this is an isotherm marine fridge, and as you can see, I have plenty of storage. I have a small freezer up top, as well as enough space for condiments, food, meats, vegetables, the whole drill. This is my dual pantry and closet. Again, I keep talking about how much I love to cook, so I made a lot of pantry space. We decided not to do any drawer slides or pre-built or prefab shelves for the pantry. So we open it up on this piano hinge here, and then I have my slide-out drawers. So each of these pulls out so I can get everything in the back as well. And so I have all my spices, you know, my condiments, whatever, oils, coffees, and I brew kombucha, so that is that stores on the bottom, and then I can like close off the top when I drive so it doesn't spill. But I got plenty of space for all of my dry goods in here, and I have, again, 1,000 spices, so they spilled over a little bit into the rest of the kitchen. But if anybody wants to come over, I'd be happy to cook for them. As a dog owner, something that was really important to me was safety of my dog when I'm either out of the bus and away, or a safe place for her to have that was also very cool. We live in the desert most of the time, so I wanted to make sure she had a cool space that stayed ventilated. So we built this underneath the bed, and this just slides right across to have her crate. And then she just hangs out in there and chews her treats, and then I can open it up. And she goes down there a lot when she's tired or when it's warm. And my mom is an artist, and she painted a whole mural inside the crate for Mako that is very cute. And so that her grand pup can always remember her when she's inside the crate. I bought the bus in April of 2020. It cost $3,100. I purchased it from a private seller who'd gotten it from an auction. It was an Arizona bus, so great shape, no rust. I then did the demo and some of the initial build myself, and then drove the bus to Washington State, where my family is from. And then I was in Washington for about a year and a half, just under a year and a half, spending every single weekend and most weeknights building the bus with my dad. So it did take about a year and a half to build. And the cost of the bus, it's tough to estimate because we did use a lot of reclaimed wood. We were very thrifty. It did help that my family had a full workshop as well as tons of items that were available, and my father works in the marine industry, so we had access to a lot of the technology and the things that I needed for the important parts of the build, like the batteries, the inverter, all that stuff, at a discount. So my guess would be that we spent somewhere between 7 and 12 grand on the build. But if I had bought all of this stuff new at that time, it probably would have cost probably $17,000 to $20,000 to convert. So my biggest piece of advice for people who are going down this journey and are ready to build a bus is collect. Go to the thrift stores, go to the salvage yards, check for these things instead of purchasing them new, because like my copper sink and my roof rack and the ladder that goes to my roof rack, so many of those things we just found at the thrift store, but it took us a long time to find those. You know, we spent the year and change building the bus and kept looking for these things. Even my stovetop is from a thrift store and rehabbed. And I'm really grateful for my father, who is a wealth of knowledge and information and capability. I learned so much during the build with him, but also he is the king of thrifting. So he was able to find these really incredible deals because he spent the time looking for it. So everything is possible, whether you want to spend time or money to build the bus. You kind of have to pick one or the other, or meet somewhere in between. So again, I'm really proud of all of the reclaimed wood, all of the stuff that we got from thrift stores and salvage yards along the way, because I think it makes my bus very unique, and that is something that I take a lot of pride in. This is my bedroom, queen size bed, and I have storage just up top here, which holds extra tech, blankets, jackets, things like that, as well as a headboard that is a storage headboard behind me that opens up, where I can store all my other knickknacks, books, other technology, things like that. Underneath here, obviously I have tons of storage. I'm really glad that I had a bus with a secondary door, so I don't only have this door here, but a door on the side as well that opens up fully, and I can access everything underneath the bed. So Mako has her crate, which covers the front quarter of the underneath storage area, and then the rest of the garage stores all of my other things, like my generator, my hoses, my filters, everything that I need to survive on the road. Previously, this opens up to show my pantry, and then when I want to get to my closet, I can either open it up the rest of the way this way or fold it out like this. So we did this because although a lot of people use framing to build their walls, we decided just to use plywood to build the walls. So we had to come up with a little bit more functional of a door. It couldn't be two separate doors for the pantry and the closet. So we decided just to hinge them together. It opens all the way up. I put my little stopper in, and then I have access to my mirror as well as all of my clothing. This is always a work in progress. It's going to get remodeled at some point and get some actual shelves built in, but for now I hang my coats in the front, and then I have a little drawer system in the back. It's about 18 inches of closet space, just enough for one person. And then down below, I keep my sweaters and sweatshirts and scarves and my shoes on the bottom. I have a separate little light that I can operate in the closet, and then it closes off when I only want to access the pantry and locks away. This is my toilet closet. I can't call it a bathroom because it is too small to be called a bathroom. So this is a toilet closet. I repurposed this RV shower curtain extender into a little thing that pops out like this so that you can have the illusion of some privacy and space. When you open it up, inside I have just a basic composting toilet. I built it myself with a urine diverter and a bucket, and it works pretty well. On the sides, we did a little bit of storage here. So my sawdust and extra toilet paper and peat moss and whatnot stays on the side. And then on the other side is my other, toiletries or bathroom items. I did a little bit of storage up top here, just for, sunscreens and bug sprays and anything else you need, Band-Aids, whatever. And my towels roll up and store underneath as well. Pretty functional little space. I did not want to give up a ton of space for a bathroom just because I thought, I do use a bathroom every day, but I also want more living and existing space. So I did not put a shower in here. I do have a solar shower and I just go to the gym when I want to shower, or I use a washcloth, bus life, baby. I was really lucky to be working in an industry that allowed me to work remotely previously to moving into the bus, at least part-time remote. So now that I've been in the bus, I work remotely in a marketing director position, as well as I freelance copyright and do content and graphic design. I spend a lot of time writing. It's a great way to make money on the road. Obviously, I have a full-time job that involves, standard Monday through Friday, but I also like to supplement, things, just have extra money for things that happen on the bus. Living in a school bus is very expensive when it comes to maintenance for the engine. Something is always going to happen and maintenance is expensive, so I like to freelance so that I have a little bit of padding when it comes to things that are going to happen on the bus. But I do work full-time remotely from the road Monday through Friday, and then sometimes evenings when I freelance. Because everything in a tiny home has to have a dual purpose, this one actually has 4 purposes. Welcome to my living room, dining room, guest bed, and my office. So this little nook here does it all, right? So I made this epoxy table with some old live edge wood we had sitting around. That was an adventure. It was very challenging, but it's the perfect size for 2 people to eat at, or for me to have my laptop on when I work from the road, as well as this turns into a guest bed, so it pulls out. I repurposed some IKEA slats that you see on all of the beds, and you pull this foam down here and it turns into a twin size bed, as well as there's storage below me and underneath the couch as well. It's where I store all of my dog crate, or my dog treats, dog toys, items like that, my backup battery bank, my heater, and my vacuum. And then in this storage over here is where I carry like backup water tanks, my projector screen, and any other knickknacks that I need to hide away when someone's filming my bus. But there's a lot of storage in this area. It is probably my most used section of the bus. Obviously, it does everything, and I love to have guests over and turn it into a little bed. Something that I really struggled with for a long time was where I could put my dog's food and water bowls that was tucked enough out of the way that I would not run into it all the time, but I could also store it. I could store it while I was driving. So I ended up building this area that was mostly for shoe storage originally, and then we added a little section, and this just pulls out, has her food and her water, and I can take it out and take it outside for her, as well as just slide it back in and tuck it out of the way for when I'm driving or when I'm moving stuff around. And that ended up being such a simple but functional thing, and I never saw that in other builds. And so as someone with a dog, I'm hoping that it inspires some other dog owners who are wondering what to do with their dog's bowls. When I was researching the type of bus and the engine that I wanted the most, I landed on the engine that I have. It's a T444E International 3800. But the problem is that this engine is not in smaller buses, like shuttle style buses, right? And I thought, what if I did all this research and I finally go to drive the bus and it's too big, it's too much. I was really nervous the first time I got behind the wheel of this bus because I thought all this research and I'm gonna have to get an engine in a bus style that I don't even want, right? But as soon as I was behind the wheel, it was honestly a piece of cake to drive. And I know so many people think it's really hard to drive buses, but the mirrors and the way that they're set up make it very easy to drive the bus. I do see tons of couples on the road where only one of the partners drives the bus, and I would encourage those women to get in the driver's seat and just do it. It is not as hard as it seems. It's actually really liberating. Sometimes owning and driving a bus makes me feel nervous and scared, but it also makes me feel really strong and empowered. It is really fun to be riding this down the road and have people wave at you and see that you are a female driving this bus and that you do it yourself. And I hopefully have inspired other people to get behind the wheel and drive their own big rigs. It's a blast, except for at night. I don't like driving at night. It's really hard to drive at night, so I try to do all my driving during the day. But again, it is really fun to drive the bus. It's not as hard as people think. The way that the buses are built with the mirrors and stuff make it a lot easier than people think. So get behind the wheel and do it. This is my garage area where I store everything that I need to live on the road. Obviously, like garden hoses to fill up my water tank, filters, my shore power cord for when I plug in to friends' houses or other power sources. My table, my cooler usually is stored back here. I have a full set of adjustable weights and a what's called like a frisbee net in here as well. I play professional ultimate frisbee with the Arizona Sidewinders. It's a women's ultimate frisbee team, and so staying fit on the road is really important to me. So I make sure to include a lot of different resistance bands and weights and whatnot in the garage area. That was a really important thing to be able to take on the road for me, and I'm so glad I have so much space to take all that stuff on the road. I also have this set of stairs that folds up and tucks under here just behind my water tank, which makes it easy to get in and out of the bus from this side, as well as a full roof deck which stores my paddle board, my pump and my paddle, Mako's crate for when I travel and someone is dog sitting her, as well as my solar panels, and then I can sit up on the roof. It is my favorite place to drink a beer and watch the sunset or wake up early and read and drink coffee on the roof deck. It is hands down the best thing that I put onto my bus. If there was a solo female traveler or aspiring traveler who wanted to do something like this, and they came to me and they asked me, Kaetlynn, how do I do this? I would say, first off, make sure that the bus you get is in the best shape possible. You can dress up a bus, but at the end of the day, if the engine and the very important parts of the bus, your fuel system, if your tires even, I mean the framing, if it is not in good shape, you're gonna lose money in that sense. So that is something I say is the most important. Do your research, find the type of bus you want, the engine you want. Everything else can be done in any sort of budget. I mean, you can get a couch from the thrift store, you can, fabricate something easily from stuff you find resale, right? You don't have to spend all the money and all the bells and whistles. What's important is that your home and that heart of your home works, right? Your engine and then your electrical system. Invest in people that know how to do the electrical system. That's really important. I mean, you always want to be safety first, right? So if you can find those resources and those people who know those systems and have that knowledge, they're going to be your best friends. Learn it, know it. They are your engine, and your battery system is the heart of your home. So make sure that those are in the best shape possible. You can also do it with a separate battery bank system. It just depends on what you want and what kind of lifestyle you want to lead. But again, make sure that the engine, the structure, everything of the bus or the tiny home that you choose is in the best shape possible before you pour a lot of money into the actual, the rehab of the bus itself. And also, you can do it. You can do it. It's scary, but it's very liberating and exciting, and it teaches you a lot about yourself. Thank you so much for coming to my tiny home tour. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were inspired by it. Maybe you came up with some new ideas of your own and some storage solutions that you might use in the future. Mako is very glad that you joined us. If you want to follow our adventures, we're on Instagram at Girl and Husky. You can also follow my professional ultimate team at AZ_Sidewinders. It means a lot to have your support. And thank you again for coming to my tiny home tour.